For over 100 years, the Idaho Cattle Association has been the official voice for all segments of the beef industry in Idaho: seed stock breeders, commercial operators, and cattle feeders. As the grassroots organization for Idaho's cattle-producing families, ICA has been and remains effective in influencing laws, rules, and regulations to create a positive business environment for Idaho's second-largest agricultural industry, as we promote the wise and sustainable use of resources that is a standard of our industry. ICA has proven effective in representing the beef cattle industry within the halls of local, state, and national elected offices. However, extremists have found an effective means of circumventing this process. Unfortunately, over the past several decades, radical environmentalists have turned to the courtroom to push their destructive agendas. Through their manipulation of well-intended federal laws, such as the Endangered Species Act or the National Environmental Policy Act, anti-agricultural activists have uncovered an ability to limit and control land use and agricultural production through the judicial branch of government. These extremists have learned to pursue their agendas at the expense of the American taxpayer. In fact, an entire industry has been created from the business of extortion through litigation of the federal government. For example, under the false pretense of natural resource conservation, the obstructionist group Western Watersheds Project has pilfered over $2.5 million from the government in Idaho grazing cases alone, wholly disregarding what is actually best for the environment. Meanwhile, activist groups are using the courtroom to force the hand of the government agencies, such as the Environmental Protection Agency and Bureau of Land Management, to impose restrictions on our industry, which slowly cripple the feasibility of cattle production. The Idaho Cattle Association adapted to this new frontier of battle by establishing the Cattle Association Legal Fund, or CAF. CAF has taken on cases on behalf of Idaho's cattle producers to defend grazing rights, fight against frivolous Endangered Species Act listing petitions, protect private property rights, guard against faulty animal rights claims, shield feedlots from overreaching environmental regulations, and much more. Today, this intense and unceasing legal pressure from extremists has caused a shift in the pendulum of the federal government. Now, rather than fight for what is right and just, state and federal agencies are often found to surrender to the agendas of activist groups to rid the land of cattle and our industry's practices of sustainability without putting up a fight. Moreover, in anticipation of potential litigation brought by the actions of anti-agriculture extremist groups, government agencies are increasingly releasing decisions placating to the desires of those trying to make our industry and way of life obsolete. Whether it be the Environmental Protection Agency's new regulations for waters of the United States, or the Bureau of Land Management's massive grazing reductions and permit renewals in Owyhee County, the writing on the wall is clear. We must be prepared and positioned to amply defend our industry against all unjust legislative actions and radical attacks. In this new chapter of issue resolution, it is incumbent upon the Idaho Cattle Association and the cattle producers of Idaho to take the Cattle Association Legal Fund to the next level in protecting the state's cattle industry. CAF has exhibited its appetite for battle by championing the landmark case Owyhee 68, the fight to preserve the West, a legal battle to prevent drastic and unsustainable livestock grazing cutbacks of over 50% on 68 grazing permits in Owyhee County. This battle has only just begun and will prove to be long, difficult, and costly before resolution is reached. In light of this new political reality in which we find ourselves, now is the time to build our coffers to ensure a sufficient and stable supply of funding to enable our continued efforts to protect, promote, and preserve our industry, our rights, and our stewardship of our land.